In these problems, we're using the quadratic formula to solve these quadratic equations. The first step when you have a quadratic is to put it in this form where there's 0 on one side and all of the terms lined up on the other side. And remember, the x squared term is your a, the b term, or the x term is your b, and the number term is your c. Once you've got it all lined up like that, all you need to do is just create this formula here, substituting in the values that you have. So let's try this. B is -4, so a negative 4 is going to be a positive 4. And then we have our plus or minus, and we have our big square root symbol, and inside is b squared. Well, -4 times -4, well, that's a positive 16. And then minus 4 times 2, that's a, times c, times a -3. And all of that goes over 2 times a. A is 2, so that's 4. All right, so we've got that set up. Let's see if we can do some simplification with that. So 4 plus or minus, here we have 4 times 2 is 8 times 3 is 24, but that's a -24 because the 3 was negative. So it's really 16 plus 24 in there, so that would be 40. So this is the square root of 40 over 4. Now the square root of 40 is really the square root of 4 times the square root of 10. Square root of 4 is 2, so I can rewrite this as 4 plus or minus 2 times the square root of 10 all over 2. And then it looks like I have some common terms here, so I've got a 2 on the bottom and I've got 2 terms on the top, each divisible by 2. So let's go ahead and cancel that. That'd be a 2. That would disappear. So it looks like we're going to get 2 plus or minus, oh whoops, I wrote that as a 4, but it should be a 2 down here. 2 plus or minus the square root of 10 over 2. All right, let's try one more. Now here we have to do a little bit of work before we get started because this is not set equal to 0. Easy enough to do that. Let's just subtract 6x from both sides. So we're going to get 2x squared minus 6x plus 1 equals 0. So I've got them written in the correct order. So our a is 2, our b is -6, and our c is 1. So let's plug them into the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula starts with a -b, so a -6 is a positive 6, plus or minus the square root of b squared, that's going to be 36, minus 4 times a times c, so 4 times 2 times 1, so that's just 8, so minus 8. And all of that is over 2 times 2, or 4. So -b plus or minus b squared minus 4 times a times c over 2a. Now 36 minus 8, that is 28. And let's see, the square root of 28 I can write as the square root of 4 times the square root of 7. So 2 times the square root of 7. So this is going to be 6 plus or minus 2 times the square root of 7 over 4. And again, I've got 2 terms up top. Everything here is divisible by 2, so let's cancel. So this will be a 2 on the bottom, 3 here. That'll go away. So we've got 3 plus or minus the square root of 7 over 2. And if I were to separate these out, I would have 3 plus the square root of 7 over 2 and 3 minus the square root of 7 over 2. So that's a little bit of work with solving problems using the quadratic formula.